Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mackenzie. I'm the Digital Learning Support Manager in the Library and Learning Services Department at Leeds Beckett University. So the first thing I'm going to start out, set the scene a little bit, is understanding disruptive change in HE. The main context in higher education, as we all know at the minute, is the fact that we are in a period of disruptive change that we can't ignore. This has an impact on the funding that we have available, how well we're able to move with rapid technological advancement, and the changing needs and demographics of our student population. All of this has an impact on institutions like ours and how we're able to operate and deliver services. New areas such as AI and education, hybrid learning models, and micro-credentials might be examples that are relevant to your institutions. However, it should be noted that these challenges also come with opportunities. If we move with or above the rate of change, we'll be able to position ourselves in a very favourable position by the end of this process, by adapting and embracing innovation and teaching that we do in a more efficient and effective manner. So, what do I do? In digital learning at Leeds Beckett, we have 6 primary facets. One is support, which is a frontline support service, and a second line support service for students, where we do phone and email support for the staff at the university on all learning technology that we have. Secondly, training. We run a lot of training sessions and create self-paced modules for the staff to educate them on our systems. We have a large suite of guides that we manage that staff can access to do self-help. We have a communications pathway, where we distribute information about our technologies across the university and manage our relationships with our external suppliers. We also have a system administration arm where we're managing, upgrading, administering, and developing the learning tech at the university. And then we have a project-based piece where we upgrade and enhance our offerings to stay at the forefront of developments in the sector. So, key challenges in higher education. I think there's 3 key challenges in higher education at the minute. Firstly, as I'm sure everyone's well aware, is the shrinking budgets and funding cuts that we're seeing, and it's a major concern for the sector as a whole, which is forcing a prioritization of spending and difficult decisions to be made about where we allocate those resources. Secondly, where resources are allocated, we need to maximize the use of those resources and find new and effective ways to deliver services more efficiently and to be able to survive the pressure that's being put on our services. And then thirdly, maintaining quality. Obviously, all of this has to be done ideally by whilst maintaining or improving the quality of our service provisions to perform well in sector metrics and surveys to continue to attract students and support continuation, access and progression. So, financial sustainability in HE. This is the bad news slide. So firstly, nearly 3/4 of UK HE education providers could be in deficit by 25-26. Liquidity concerns that 40% of providers are projected to have fewer than 30 days of liquidity. Declining surpluses. Across the sector, we saw a 37% drop in 23-24 in the surpluses that institutions have. And then finally, student recruitment challenges. I'm sure this is something we've all had, where flat domestic recruitment and a drop in international students through visa changes are key financial stresses. So, this is the slide. I'm not going to stay on it too long, but basically you can see that the relative value of a student compared to the fixed fees in 2017 has declined about a third. So how these manifest in regards to my service that I run. Firstly, capacity reduction. We've had staff that we're not able to replace, and this has forced us to change our prioritizations and adapt our service model to find new ways of increasing our efficiency as a team. Secondly, staff wellbeing. I'm sure everyone has experienced this and is currently dealing with making these financially driven changes, and this uncertainty has an impact on staff. Internal discussions around financial challenges can cause stress, tension, and worry about job security. Service pressure. For us as a professional service team, there's big knock-on effect from academic departments having to make changes and the challenges in the sector that they're responding to, increasing the amount of demand on all aspects of my service. Our summer upgrade, we do a lot of our project work over the summer teaching break, and this has been an increase in pressure for us over the year that has meant that we have less time to do these projects. Our attention has to be focused on projects that provide maximum benefits for ourselves, staff and students, as well as the most sustainable service provision going forward, while also trying to remain at the forefront of digital technology and pedagogy. And finally, finances. Along with many institutions, I'm sure, we've had a reduction in the finances that our directorate has had, which has caused us to have to reduce our budgets, which is challenging for us because a lot of our outgoings are fixed into contracts, so they aren't very flexible to be able to do so. So this is just some data. Hopefully you find it interesting from my service. You can see some of the metrics here. As far as general trends go, we're experiencing a year-on-year increase in demand for our services. We logged 6,300 support queries, which is a 224% increase since pre-pandemic levels, 124,000 Blackboard submissions, nearly just over 7,500 modules, 192,000 turn-in submissions, 1.4 million marks, and 457 online remotely proctored exams in Inspira. So how I am going to apply some theory to try and work out how I can navigate this sphere. So a systems change model, such as Peter Seng's, he says there's 3 key challenges in initiating change. 1, there's got to be a compelling case. Well, I think that we can see that we have here. 2, there must be a time to change. Unfortunately, that's right now. And there must be help during the change process. That's the area that I have some influence over. The situation was survival. And time is now, and my service is the center of that help aspect. So if we look at the key theories in systems change models, firstly, adaptation. The context here is higher education institutes must adapt to these changing financial, technological, and social landscapes. How we've applied that is by creating a flexible and adaptable service to meet these evolving student needs and technological advancements, as well as trying to deliver excellent resource optimization. 2, in regards to alignment, we have to ensure all components of an institution are aligned towards common goals for those stakeholders. So all of my initiatives have had to be fit within that university strategic plan and those educational objectives. Collaboration, as we can see from great collaboration here today, effective change requires collaboration amongst various stakeholders within the institution. What we've done is foster collaboration between ourselves, centralized IT departments, faculty, support staff, and other professional teams to develop and implement our digital learning tools and resources. And then 4, evidence-driven action and learning, making decisions based on data and evidence to ensure that our implementations are effective. We use data analytics, some of which I've showed, that monitor the effectiveness of our support service and make informed adjustments based on student and staff feedback and those performance metrics. So now to bring it more into the real, this is how we've applied these through projects. Firstly, we ran a project called DDI, which is all about removing different softwares that we use and things that surplus to requirements to lower the amount that we spend on software, but then using the software we have to fill holes there and use them more efficiently and introduce new functionality. We removed a software called Poll Everywhere, which you might know about. And then I got one of my team to undertake some gap analysis work, and which we found that we could close this gap by using MS Forms in a different way. It required us creating new guidance, going out to key stakeholders that use Poll Everywhere to get them on board, explaining this personally, and getting key change agents around the university to spread this knowledge. However, it's made a significant saving for us. And we've managed to decommission multiple other softwares in the same manner that have resulted in significant savings, but at no loss in functionality for both staff and students. Secondly, technological advancements, big thing on the agenda at the minute. Even though there have been challenges, we're still focusing on trying to improve our offerings and often new software. We're running a huge project at the minute to adopt the latest VLE from Blackboard, Ultra, and also focusing on using our data analytics better. Ultra has required a significant amount of time investment for us to successfully roll out across the university. However, this also adds a significant amount of new functionality to improve pedagogy An example of this is courses utilising the fact that you can look at student engagement and with the content in the modules to then use engagement as an assessor, which reduces the marking workload for certain courses. And there's many areas that features of Ultra will facilitate improved efficiency as well as functionality for both staff and students if we manage that rollout correctly. Strategic partnerships. We're working collaboratively externally with our providers, Blackboard, Inspira, PebblePad, Sidecar, Core, to garner more benefits from those relationships and their products, as well as sector organisations like ALN and internal colleagues. This facilitates the products that we use working better for our needs and requiring less time investment from our team. This in turn allows us to invest that saved time in mutually beneficial relationships internally at the university and across the sector. We're also outsourcing as much of the work that we can back to the supplier to get the best benefit from that relationship, because we want that value for money. And this is a good example of how you can pivot from turning a challenge into an opportunity. Their market has become tougher, and due to this, it's a buyer's market for universities. So if their services aren't as promised, people will take their business elsewhere. And then finally, staff investment, focusing on continuing to upskill our staff and increase communication and collaboration across the university, and also facilitating external learning opportunities has led to staff that are more capable and cohesive to achieve the needs of our service. This also provides an important wellbeing benefit, acts as a juxtaposition against the key day-to-day work, which is high pressure. So I'm going to show you a very brief look at what Ultra has done in this shift that we're trying to manage here. So this is the existing VLE built-in Blackboard original of Leeds Beckett. It's Foundations of Property Law module. This is now what it looks like in Ultra. These placeholder images will be replaced with actual images. But what it does is give a better student and colleague experience by having a new look, new features, and it's a lot cleaner to understand. It offers us as a university a competitive position in the sector, but we also get ahead of that end-of-life roll down of the old Blackboard system. Ultra also has some really interesting features, such as an AI design assistant, which with our guidance and support, we hope staff can leverage to create better, more accessible and engaging modules for students. This is also what Ultra looks like on mobile devices of a tablet and a phone. Original doesn't look great. This is a lot better. So we're very happy about that. It also has a search bar, which is something that students and staff have asked for a long time, just so they quickly find content. And then it has the progress tracking I spoke about earlier. Those dots on the side will go half fill when a student opens something and fill up completely when they've completed it, which allows them and the staff member to track progress. Finally, pop-up announcements. As we've heard today, students don't read emails. So having a pop-up that they can't ignore when they go into a module is a great way of making sure that they've seen information. So we're going to move into the second half of my presentation, which is about supporting and staff wellbeing and maintaining productivity through this kind of progress. The final area that I can directly influence in this progress is staff wellbeing and protecting the wellbeing of my team. To get a greater insight into the ways that I conceptualize wellbeing, I've chosen 4 key theories that to a degree interrelate, but as a whole, I think show how I think about wellbeing. And I've broken each into techniques of focus and action. So first, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a big one, but basically, employees' basic needs need to be met before they can achieve high levels of productivity and motivation. So we need to ensure their physiological and safety needs, such as wages and working conditions, to then provide an opportunity for belongingness and recognise achievements. This practice shows the importance of making sure that you're addressing those basic issues to create a foundation, a platform to then build support, belonging and achievement on top of. But if those foundations are ignored, the belonging and achievement is undermined and doesn't come across as authentic. 2, self-determination theory. It emphasizes the role of autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which fosters intrinsic motivation. This is providing employees a sense of autonomy by allowing them to make decisions or contribute, offering an opportunity for skill development to enhance competence and foster a sense of community or belonging. I think creating staff that are aware that they're trusted and capable helps them to feel value and care about the work they're doing and the role that they play in a team. Where in my service, I want everyone to believe they're a key part, because they are. 3, Mayo's human relation theory. This is all about the importance of social relationships in a workplace and positive interactions. It encourages open communication, creating those relationships between managers and employees, and a supportive work environment. The crux of this, in my opinion, is about creating a culture where staff support each other and feel that I, as their manager, genuinely care about their personal well-being. I prove this through communicating openly, talking about difficult topics, and backing up my words with action. In turn, staff feel like they can be more honest about their feelings to me, and that I will take time to look out for them and they can look out for each other, knowing that I support this. And 4, work-life balance. Ensuring employees can effectively balance their work responsibilities and personal life. There's different schemes like flexible working hours, remote work, and support programs that can help this. Being a hybrid team, for me, I realize this is easier to facilitate logistically than many of you might have in the room. However, I think that reinforcing this message and being adaptable to how people's well-being affects their work creates the understanding work is a component of a person's life and mental health. So, applying those well-being theories in practice, I broke them into 4 key pillars that I believe are the core of this. 1 is clear and honest communication. Within the confines of what we can speak to about staff, we have to be as open, honest, and willing to discuss concerns and changes that they're worried about. And this helps keep hearsay and the illusion of secrecy at bay. By feeling that we are confident that we will tell them what we can, when we can, and as soon as we can, in the discussions that we're part of, we're reflecting their concerns and opinions. This helps to reinforce the belief that we're protecting those core physiological and safety needs. This works both ways too. When I'm communicating with them over work and things I need from them, they realize I'm doing so for a good reason. Secondly, trust. I trust my employees to self-prioritize and focus on tasks that they think are the most important once the baseline service delivery and key project tasks have been met. I offer suggestions, guidance, and support whilst doing this, or if any problems are encountered, but giving them ownership and choice increases pride over outcomes and the motivation to complete tasks. Independence. I hold a morning catch up with my team and some project-based meetings, but generally I allow them to feed back at me when they want to and on progress when it's necessary, or I reach out if I have to require an update for a certain meeting I'm going to. But generally it gives them more freedom to focus and make progress on tasks in the process that they like to work with, and then collaborate holistically with each other. I do, however, make a concerted effort to initiate and provide opportunities to foster this, as well as giving positive feedback and recognizing achievement, which creates that positive mutual relationship. During difficult times, I've also found that this gives them more space for them to talk to me in our regular one-to-ones about their well-being primarily, because they don't feel like they have to give me all the exhaustive updates about how tasks are progressing. Finally, belonging and community. Giving as much focus to supporting well-being and team training, opportunities for collaboration, and a team environment where they can rely on peer support, as well as management support, helps to share that workload and stress. Peer training, development initiatives for mentoring create a cohesiveness within our team. And as everyone is aligned around the service, work, goals, and projects, but also looking forward to progressing for the future. The 2 metaphysical ways I conceptualize this are culture and identity. I want to build a culture where my team feel they're cared for, listened to, and invested in, but an identity where people are proud to be part of a service they feel is important and contribute to that individually. Work towards that then collectively. We reinforce this through internal praise channels and university recognition schemes. We also, as has been mentioned today, focus on CPD opportunities such as AFHEA and FHEA opportunities, which we have had staff members move through in the last 6 months, as well as CMOLT and other more specific things to our area. So, the future of higher education. These are my 4 key principles going forward. 1, embracing change. Institutions must view this disruption as an opportunity. Innovative mindsets will transform these challenges into advantages. As a service, I feel like we've been successful in achieving a navigation of this difficult period and embrace the change coming out the other side more efficient and effective. We've had some significant successes and are in a positive place with our team cohesion and wellbeing support. 2, adapting to new realities. Flexible systems and responsive strategies will help navigate uncertainty. Student-centered approaches must remain paramount. The next stage to this process I see is being able to be more proactive in driving the progress forward into the new reality that we're in and focusing on big marquee projects. We had to maybe slow some momentum down to pivot towards the demands and the pressures of the situation we're in. We want to reframe our outlook back to looking forward rather than at the immediate present. 3, innovative service delivery. Digital transformation will enhance both efficiency and effectiveness. Personalized learning experiences will become standard. Projects that focus and are directed towards this, such as for us, our Blackboard Ultra project, will allow the positive pedagogical and efficiency developments to bring themselves forward. It will allow us to deliver a service in new ways and bring new benefits for staff and students, as well as position ourselves in a strong standing in a very competitive sector. Finally, sustainable growth. Balanced financial models will ensure long-term viability. Strategic partnerships will create new value and opportunities. If this journey goes as planned, hopefully it facilitates a situation where we can grow again, form new relationships in the sector, and then sustain our improvement as an institution. So to round up, I think that disruptive change is a defining characteristic of the HE sector today. Hopefully this presentation has offered you some thoughts on how it can be approached proactively via technology, collaboration, and wellbeing. I'm more than happy for anyone to share their thoughts and questions. I feel like we can learn a lot from each other's perspectives. I've come up with a couple of prompts in case anyone didn't have anything they wanted to ask. But thank you very much for your time.